Play with something safe, man. Don't play with me.
Alright, so true story, right? 100% true story. Every day when I wake up and, you know, I go through my morning process, I think of what are fire videos I could potentially make? What are massive battles I could do? And, you know, started pondering Marvel versus DC. I've been thinking of characters lately, even outside of Marvel or DC, like Hellboy, just stuff like that, right? And I finally thought, why don't we just do it? The two jobber gods, supposed omnipotent beings of each verse, Marvel and DC. We're discarding the whole quote omniscience, omnipresence. No one is in comics. I'm sorry, no one is. But we are going to look at their feats and what they've accomplished in comics. Both don't really have many feats, so this really wasn't hard to, you know, go through and double check and research, but I have come to my conclusion on who wins. So with that being said, make sure to check out all the links in the description, including my Cash App, which is for the channel, and it has all the options you can have to donate. Basically, you know, there's a bunch of perks to donating. Make sure to check that out. Check out my Twitch, Twitter, subscribe for free. Of course, it's always free to subscribe and like my content, so that really helps. But anyways, this is a massive video. I'm expecting a lot of you to tune into it. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy, and let's begin. First off, we will be introducing the one above all from Marvel Comics. What has the one above all done in comics? Not much, but I have a few things for you guys. So, the one above all can casually manifest himself as an avatar in the form of a comic book writer. This power was obviously displayed and very casual as the one above all appeared as the famed comic creator Jack Kirby to assist the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four had a few problems going on, like Ben Grimm was dying, things like that, and he really helped them with this, and it was pretty easy for him to manifest as a comic book writer with his pencils rewriting on a crazy scale, which I'll explain in a second. As his avatar, Jack Kirby, the one above all somewhat explains that his existence is a simple one. Comics and their characters are simply figments of his imagination put to paper in order to entertain the one above all. So basically, he's saying all the comic stories we ever read, he's so far above it that it's just like passive entertainment for him that he writes down for himself. We saw with the Fantastic Four meeting that the one above all has casual manipulation of both the plot and individual subplots. His avatar, Jack Kirby, displayed this power by altering the fate of Thing in order to expedite his recovery. He went over the subplots that could heal Thing and how he actually would heal based on the plot and what the plot needed. However, he didn't feel like waiting, so he went ahead and just rewrote the plot and subplots to make it move faster. So he has complete narrative control, which is pretty impressive. If you accept above all others as the one above all, or at the very least below him, just a fragment of his power, according to Thanos, has omniversal level power. This should include the Amalgamverse, which has DC as well as Marvel. And real quick, according to Marvel guides, they do have an omniversal explanation. So I'm going to go ahead and explain what the guide says. The Omniverse is the collection of every single universe, dimension, etc. This includes the real world right outside of your window, but it also includes every single universe realm ever mentioned in any of Marvel Comics, as well as any other company. It includes every single literary, television show, movie, urban legend, universe realm ever. It includes everyone from Popeye to Rocky Balboa to Ronald Reagan to Romeo and Juliet to Luke Skywalker to Snoop to Jay and Silent Bob, etc. Everything is in the Omniverse, and there's only one Omniverse. Omni is all. Shout out to Mark Grunwald from Marvel, by the way, for devising that explanation of what the Omniverse is. So if it's true he has that omniversal power, that is absolutely insane. The one above all resides in the House of Ideas, or rather, he should reside there. The House of Ideas should be the blank page upon which ideas and comics are made. This includes all narratives and things like that. All forms of creation as well to have ever existed in Marvel comics will reside here and came from here. For reference, in another case with the one above all, we saw that Loki actually ran into him in Loki number 4 in the House of Ideas. This location is vastly beyond the far shore. For reference, just for scaling, these abstract places are so far beyond creation that even it's like an abstract death of abstract concepts as well. It's just higher levels of everything. It's just that massively transcendental in comparison, and he chills there. So yeah. Anyways, that's it for the one above all. We're gonna go over to the supposed big bad boss man of DC Comics, the Presence. Now, the Presence is notoriously known in one of his few appearances in comics to look like, at one point, the dude from Monopoly. But anyways, he once in a comic held creation in his hand, almost like a little toy ball, and said he didn't really know what to do with it and that he could do whatever. And this was such a casual feat that it's kind of crazy. In the 1980s, having encountered the power of the one above all, or I'm sorry, the Presence, my bad, Swamp Thing states that the Presence is easily beyond time and space, of course in reference to dimensionality, and is, quote, perfect in the absolute sense. So he's encountered things like Spectre, Phantom Stranger, all that. He's gone through infinite layers of the chaos of hell when trying to save a girl, and Swamp Thing still says this is perfect power-wise in comparison. That's wild. Presence in more recent comics in DC, like Green Lantern issue 17 and Dark Knight's Metal, he is shown to obviously be the originator of all of creation. This should include the Dark Multiverse and all those powerhouses from that run. The creation of these places stems from his power. In Hell Arisen issue 4, we see the investigation of the potential death of Presence. It is stated that the idea of the Presence actually dying is so powerful, so insane, that the fabric of creation itself would be in danger of being destroyed. In Justice League issue 39, it is shown that the Presence quite heavily still has domain over even powerhouses like Phantom Stranger, Spectre, and other members of the Quintessence. This seems to show in this run that Presence is indeed on top in terms of the DC hierarchy. In 2016, he seemed to have taken an L to Lucifer, but I do want to note a couple things in context of this battle. Lucifer remarks that Presence had come back and was not the same as the Presence before. He was, quote, wrong. So at this point, there is a different Presence, Elaine, I believe, and this Presence, the original, comes back and he's just not the same. He's corrupted. He was a vengeful creator, not the normal Presence. And in my opinion, this wasn't a peak Presence. I just think the corruption actually had a major impact on his power. So, when it comes to these two gods of their verses, who do I see coming out on top? Well, power-wise, just narratively, based on who they are supposed to represent for each verse, it should be roughly the same. I mean, both should be omniversal, at least in the eyes of the authors and some statements before. And they've had crossovers before, and I just personally think overall in power, the verses should be relative. So I don't think there's a power issue. To me, it comes down to, okay, who's scrappier? Which one of these gods to me has proven they can throw down and that they will throw down? In my opinion, since everything seems to be kind of equal, I'm rolling with those who are more about it. I have to go with presence. Even though he's taking an L to Lucifer when he was off his rocker, he has shown before he will pull up and scrap. Trigon pulled up on him. He got the hands. Obviously, Trigon didn't take down the presence. He's scrapped before. He threatened to scrap basically with the Great Evil Beast before came down and they were going to clash. Of course, they end up shaking hands, dapping up, and throwing up gang signs, but whatever. But in the end, I just think the presence has more combat applicable feats, is more prone to combat, and I think would beat up the one above all. So I'm going to have to roll with the presence with this one. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. I hope this was a fun battle for you to watch. Again, it's my opinion. Both kind of narratively represent the same thing, so it could go either way. But let me know who you think wins and why. Keep it civil. Don't need a bunch of hooligans. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment. Check out everything in the description. It's been your boy, your favorite villain, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.